Some international human rights and rule of law groups have stated that the rigging of the 2023 Nigerian presidential polls is worse than the military coup experienced in the Republic of Niger, Chad, and Burkina Faso. The groups are the International College of Democracy and Human Rights, the Eastern Nigerian Democracy and Human Rights Coalition, the Coalition of Democracy and Human Rights Organizations, and the International Society for Civil Liabilities and Rule of Law. They warned that the justice of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal (PEPT) must be allowed by the Bola Tinubu presidency, including the country's spy police chiefs and regular police authorities, to freely and morally write and deliver their verdicts popularly and independently, and refrain from moves strongly suggestive of forcing a scripted verdict on them prepared by the presidential evil geniuses to be delivered by the PEPT to Nigerians and the world. This was contained in a statement jointly signed by the international groups and sent to reporters on Saturday. The groups explained that PEPT justice must be reminded that the sacred collective assignment given to them by Nigerians is to factually determine the true winner and losers of the 2023 presidential election using the laid down rules and procedures, including the collected and tabulated result in the Form EC8As and recognized electronic devices. The statement partly read, and I quote, "We, the representatives of the coalitions above mentioned, are in this joint statement calling on the five-man panel justice of the Court of Appeal of the 2023 Presidential Election Petition Tribunal to morally and judicially ensure that the verdict of the PPT is tailored in a decided case as it ought to be, devoid of technicalities and political obitus or ethno-religious biases and divisions. The PEPT verdict must be such that it's tailored in living and democratically progressive law. The PEPT justice must be reminded that the sacred collective assignment given to them by Nigerians is to factually determine the true winner and losers of the 2023 presidential election using the laid down rules and procedures, including the collected and tabulated results in the Form EC8As and recognized electronic devices. It is also the assigned sacred duty of the PEPT justice to determine the number of the dead votes and results in the INEC announced presidential result from the country's over 176,000 polling units and have them detached and invalidated. The awaiting verdict must be rooted in spirit and letters of the law and not cloaked in legal loopholes or technicalities. Matters involving presidential coup, judicial inquiries are like matters involving mass deaths, requiring judicial probes, which must find answers as to who are those killed and when, where, how, and why they were killed and who killed them. The justice of the PPT must also be allowed by the presidency, including the country's spy police chiefs and regular police authorities, to freely and morally write and deliver their verdicts popularly and independently, and refrain from most strongly suggestive of forcing a scripted verdict on them, prepared by the presidential evil geniuses, to be delivered by the PPT to Nigerians and the world. The INEC supervised rigging of the 2023 presidential poll in Nigeria is as worse as the military coup in the republics of Niger, Chad, and Burkina Faso, and those going to the equity must at all times go with clean hands. According to the International Society for Civil Liabilities and Rule of Law, Nigerians' leading research on investigative human rights democracy, rule of law and citizen security and safety advocacy organization, apart from a corrupt judge being most than a demented man running amok with a sharp knife in a crowded market, he also hides under the cloak of technicalities and political obitus, as his way showed decidedly of facts derived from weak laws or legal loopholes. It must also be pointed out that majority of Nigerian judges and pro-establishment lawyers have earned notorious and crooked expertise in legal technicalities and political obitus. These crooked feats, so achieved especially since 2015, have left Nigerian with internationally rated on major status of second to none in the world, to the extent that in international jurisprudential discourse, the growth of law in Nigeria amounts to the growth of law in democracy-compliant countries with international jurisprudential best practices in that killer laws such as legal technicalities or loopholes strive and shape the laws of the country with endemic and pandemic corruption, under which Nigeria is unarguably and inescapably classified, the statement added.